Hey guys, what's going on? Back with another zombies video. And this is going to be a different type of video. I wanted to talk about something that's been trending in the zombies community for the last couple of months, ever since Die Machine came out in November. And you can see I just loaded in to Die Machine just in solos because I'm going to use it as an example. And as you can tell by the title, it has to do between Transit and Die Machine. Something in real life, there's a connection between the two. They kind of, like I said, I saw it trending when the game first came out. It's actually been trending for a while. And it just recently kind of like, I won't say that like it's gotten worse, but it surprised me when I saw something very similar again happen. So Transit came out in 2012 and we're in 2021. And this past September would have been 8 years since Transit came out. And it goes also along the same storyline, and it just amazes me how clever and smart the devs are in at Treyarch, because Blundell introduced to us, and maybe not even Blundell, maybe even Jimmy, because it has to do with like Dante's Divine Comedy, and Purgatory just happened to be part of that Divine Comedy. But, and I'm not even 100% sure, but it has to do with the cycles and even with Faust. How the story of Faust is basically when you kind of like defeat Mephistopheles, or the devil, you then become the devil and take his place. And that was what Revelations was about, and people still don't know that was what Infinite Warfare Zombies was about, and Revelations, how we kind of defeated the Shadow Man in Revelations, and then the cycle becomes the cycle repeats, and they go back to the beginning. It's about repeating cycles, and I guess, to be honest, Infinite Warfare is probably going to be the best example, but there are some Revelations Treyarch ether, cycles, obviously, and stuff like that. However, so what I'm talking about is Transit came out 8 years ago, and keep in mind what I just mentioned about cycles. And we're talking about in real life stuff between the two. We're talking between Die Machine here, and we're talking about the Transit map. And coincidentally, Noctur on Toten was inside Transit, was one of the part of it. And there's a whole story between like what happened with Transit, and we only got like maybe 10%, not even 10%, maybe like 20% um, of the full scale of the map, what it was supposed to be. So keep all that in mind. Again, let me just recap it. Keep in mind of cycles. Keep in mind the coincidence of Nocturne and Toten and Transit. So what I'm talking about is when Transit first came out in 2012, there was a big YouTube channel, probably the biggest one at the time, to be honest with you. And there was a smaller channel, and the smaller channel had all the answers, because they used to, I believe, work with Treyarch, and they would help the community. They were a little bit older people. The people at that channel were older than the people. No, actually, no, that doesn't make sense at all. So basically, actually, they were both old now that I think about it. Both channels were like older people. But what I'm getting at is when Transit first came out, there was a really big channel, and there was a smaller channel. The smaller channel had all the answers because they would work with the devs at Treyarch, and Treyarch would give them the answers. And that was before they invited people to the studio. The studio was pretty tight in inviting people to the studio. So the big channel, what it would do, and this is what actually came to mind recently. The big channel would clickbait people. He would make, or she would make a video and lying about finding Easter eggs. And it also reminds me of back in the day when archaeologists and paleontologists that work with dinosaur bones, if I'm not mistaken. They would pretend that they found a new dinosaur species, but what they would do, they would actually just piece bones together and create their own dinosaur with random bones that they found. Even not even like dinosaur bones, it would have been like bones from like maybe a giraffe or something like that, or an elephant, and they would pretend that they found this new dinosaur species. And this is what it's reminding me about. That's why I say it's like an in real life connection between Transit and Nocturne Toten and Die Machine. That I see people now creating fake Easter egg solves, and the reason too I'm kind of talking about this is because I feel like I'm kind of like, honestly, maybe 90 to 100% the reason and the fault for it, because as you guys know, people don't want to admit it, or they're just simping on the bigger channels. I used to be the one that used to give all the big channels all the answers, and I didn't know anybody from Treyarch, and I still don't know anyone from Treyarch, but I used to figure stuff out on my own, and actually stuff is actually very easy to figure out if people would just set the time to figure it out, or, to be honest with you, believe in themselves. So what I'm getting at, again, it's like back in 2012 there was a big channel that used to make BS videos, and they would do this. They're like, first Easter egg step found, and it would be like how to open the door. You press X on it, and then they would like end the video like that. They're like, first Easter egg step for Die Machine found, first in the world, and all would be like how to open this door and then how to open that door, and then they would label it like new Easter egg step found. And I just feel like that is where we're trending at, and we've been trending that, and I kind of feel like it's just getting a lot stupider and a lot more obvious, and people just don't have any shame, I guess, or have any like I don't know, like have any pride, I guess, as another thing, where they would go like crumbled column in Die Machine. I'm gonna end up going down for messing around, but I just feel like it's the same thing. It's the bigger channels. I guess they just maybe like squander their money and like, hey, I need to make a quick buck. Let me just make a BS video. It would be something like this airplane and this airplane, like you walk through it, and then like new step found if you walk through the airplane, and then just not, the video would be like absolutely nothing. And I feel like that's what's been trending, and it still is happening more recently than ever. And then, or it'd be like new Easter egg step, and it would be like Juggernaut machine found in the middle of the map. And like, that's not really an Easter egg step. So I've seen people recently, I've seen other channels speak about it. I just kind of feel like, since I'm the one to be at fault, because I'm the one that used to give all the big channels answers, and I do like seeing how people figure stuff out. So it could be like this this graffiti, oh, big Easter egg found, graffiti on Die Machine, and it's like, it's so silly, and it looks so bad, like. And again, it goes back to the whole Faust. It goes back with the cycles. It goes back to Mob of the Dead. How Blundell and Jimmy Zielinski and the dads were so right, and even philosophers going back hundreds of years ago, how no matter how much time goes through, like how much time we go through, like it could be another 3,000 years from now, and technology is going to be more advanced, and people are going to still do the same thing. It's just like, it's just crazy how 8 years later, and we're talking about cycles, how there's new people that took over. Like I said, think about 2012. There used to be a big channel that would do the same thing. It'd be like, you open the door, like new Easter egg step found, and all you do is open the door to go down to this machine. Or like, you go prone at like the perk machines, and then they'll be like, new step found, get 100 what is it, 500? I don't even know how much you get when you go prone. 500? 100? No, actually 100. It could be like, new step found, you go prone at the machine to get 100 points. So it just gets so annoying and it looks so bad. Like, I guess that's the thing. Like I said, I'm not friends with anyone because I just do my own thing. I solve Easter eggs and that's it. But to see the way people do stuff, it's like, how do you let yourself do that? Like, or it could be like, what else? I'm trying to use something that isn't obvious. It could be like, what's that number? 24501. And it'd be like, I make a video saying, new Easter egg found, 2501 number on the plane. Could be a huge Easter egg. I'm going to end up going down. So, again, it just blows my mind. It blows my mind more about how the devs, philosophers from years ago, were right about stuff. How people end up doing the same thing over and over and over. And then we're in, what, 2021? 20 years from now, it's going to be the same thing. There's going to be a new group of YouTubers that come in, and they're going to do the same thing. Or 5 or 10 years from now, they're going to be like, new step found, and then all it is like showing you the arrow pointing towards, like, underground or whatever. And I saw that very recently. Everybody's been seeing it for the past. You know what it is? Like I said, I'm 100% to blame because I stopped giving answers and I wanted people to start figuring it out for themselves to see how they figure stuff out. But like, it could be just random stuff, and they like table with four items on it. New possible Easter egg found. Step 1, new side Easter egg step. You get a spoon and you get some hats and stuff like that. And like I said, think back 8 years ago, people were doing that 8 years ago, and it just blows my mind more than anything. That's like 9 years later. Or actually, here's another good one as another good example. This obviously is a hellhound, and then people like, obviously it's a hellhound. You don't need to make a video to tell people that it's a hellhound. It would be like the same thing. Like, you make a video about a rabbit on the ground. New possible Easter egg found. You know what's funny? That could actually be an Easter egg. Funny enough, because it had blood. It has blood on it. Anything with blood means it's an Easter egg. So like, this stuff doesn't have blood on it, so there's no Easter egg there. This has blood on it, so that's probably something. But at least I have proof and research to go by. But it could be like that cup right there or that can, and they'd be like, new Easter egg found, and then they just have like a bunch of BS about a can, what the can could mean, just to make a quick buck. And that's the sad part, is I know it's financial reasons that people need, because they're not getting spoon fed the answers from myself or Blondell, that now they have to go and make, unfortunately have to go and make a bunch of nonsense videos instead of like just waiting or finding something, or like actually make a video until you find something. Like, that just blows my mind. You could be like this, like, the blood on the wall is shaped like an F or an E, new Easter egg found. And again, like, some people might know what I'm referring to from 8 years ago, but like I said, it had to do with transit Easter egg steps before people were data mining, and there were only a couple YouTubers on YouTube back then, but they would just, I'm gonna end up going down. There was a big channel that would just do that. They would go and make nonsense videos. I guess they thought it was funny at the time to clickbait people, but it so blows my mind, the whole Faust, the whole Mob of the Dead thing. How like even funny enough, even Brian Toohey said that the other day. Not everything is an Easter egg. I mean, you would love it to be. I would love it to be. You gotta realize, because of COVID-19, there's not gonna be a bunch of Easter eggs. This map was made, honestly, in the summertime, maybe a little bit before the summertime. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was 2019 or 2020. this map was made in the summertime. And I know it's like, first of all, I know if you want to give somebody the benefit of the doubt, you can, but I know 100% the reason is just like financial reasons. People need a quick buck, so they're gonna make a transit BS video and try and piece stuff together just to get people to click on it. And again, like, it just blows my mind how right people are. I think that is the main thing, is like how 8 years ago it was happening, and now 8 years later it's happening again. It's like a whole cycle. It's like we defeated Mephistopheles, sorry, and then it's like now that person becomes Mephistopheles. And it's the same thing. Like, we did away with some big channels that used to clickbait. We do still have a couple people in the zombies community that clickbaits, and there's two people specifically. I call them Dumb and Dumber, because they it's just so silly, the stuff that they say. And they put fake stuff out there, then they say that like it got changed, and but they don't really know anything. It's all BS. I just call them like Dumb and Dumber, like, and it's so true, because it's like, again, it's more sad than anything, but it's people make the most nonsense videos. Oops, I'm gonna get blown apart. They make videos with a whole bunch of nonsense in it, and then they say, oh yeah, well, that got changed. They know people at Treyarch that changed it. I'm like, no, that's not what happened. It's so, like I said, it's more sad than anything. But I just want to kind of like be another person to talk about it, because I know other people have mentioned it, that like people, and it's the people that you least expect. You even think about it almost like a cancer or a virus itself. To see somebody else get infected and is now clickbaiting, making like BS videos about solving or finding a new Easter egg. It's not a new Easter egg. You're just like making nonsense. This one, I actually almost made one myself. I thought that was something. I'm not going to say what I think it was or what it can be, but I really did think of something. Even this one here, it's so crazy how people just like, oh my god, they make a video and then people people think it's actually something. It's so sad. Like, again, like I said, I'm more amazed at like how the cycle continues, like we were taught in Mob of the Dead and Revelations and stuff like that. How like people really just keep the cycle going. They'll do it again, and then when they're gone, there's gonna be a new person taking over, making random nonsense clickbait videos. But yeah, it's just something that I noticed, and other people have noticed it, and I just want to kind of put that out there. But at the same time, I do like to see how people think, if they're actually really trying to do an Easter egg or find an Easter egg. And I do notice that like people can't really solve much on their own. Like, some of the channels, the last big thing that they solved or knew about was something that I told them about. So that just kind of blows my mind. Anyways, I'm going to end it here. I think I pretty much got my point across. Again, one last time. It's just basically 8 years later, something that was going on in Transit. Big channels making fake claims. And it reminded me again like a paleontologist when they say, hey, I found this new dinosaur, everybody come check it out. But all it is they pieced a bunch of nonsense together from other animals, maybe elephant or another dinosaur, and then they're claiming it to be a new dinosaur or something like that. I don't know if they did that in Jurassic Park. Probably not. Like, let's take the Brontosaurus, for example. Brontosaurus is a fictional dinosaur that was pieced together by two tails of one other dinosaur. But anyways, I'm gonna leave it at that. Like I said, the cycle continues, and I'm seeing big channels again making nonsense, trying to say that this is a new Easter egg. Like I said, it could be like, I don't know. I'm about to get destroyed anyways by these zombies because I'm like goofing around. It could be like this sign on the box, like new Easter egg found, 2 suspicious boxes by the cave entrance. Could be a new Easter egg, or like whatever that is on there. I don't even know what that is, as a matter of fact. What is that? I don't even know what that is. It could be, and I could keep going, but it could be something like that also, like new symbol found, a new Apothicon symbol found on Die Machine. Anyways, just gonna kind of put that out there, how it's like the devs were right, and you do learn a lot, and it's, I guess it's more like philosophy and psychology, that you do learn a lot from these games, and I'm glad they kind of make these games so you can kind of learn from it. But you learn how like the cycle continues for real. Like they were not kidding. Oh, I got a max ammo. How the cycle really continues. There's new people making BS videos. BAC. What does that say? JEBAC. Anyways, it could be something so silly that people really, like I said, I know 100% it's financial reasons. Maybe YouTube made made cuts and people aren't getting paid as much as they used to from their ad revenue. It could be like blood on machine, new Easter egg found, first step inside Easter egg. People used to do it too, I forget, funny enough, with the Giant. People used to make fake claims on the Giant that they found a new Easter egg. I'm going to go down. Anyways, I'll see you guys later. Thanks.